What's up, guys? Welcome to the Line Change. And in this video, we're going to be talking about an article. We're going to discuss it. We're going to break it down. And essentially, this article is from Iain MacIntyre of Sportsnet. And it's some quotes from Patrik Allvin in regards to Elias Pettersson. Now, this part in particular I wanted to talk about was essentially Allvin suggesting to Elias Pettersson that he stay in Vancouver for the offseason and train with the team and use their resources to train. Like, essentially, what Allvin is getting at is they want to monitor EP40's offseason. They want to see what he does and see how he trains. As everyone knows, coming out of last offseason, Pettersson was dealing with the tendonitis, and he wasn't able to fully train like he wanted to. He had to work around that specific injury, and when he returned at training camp, management was not happy with, the fact that his conditioning. They weren't impressed with the conditioning that PD had. So this is essentially their way of, checking and wanting to monitor his offseason. And obviously they don't want a repeat of this past year. So, but it also begs the question, are they, now let me just go ahead and throw this out there just so people are aware. Technically, the Canucks cannot force Elias Pettersson to train here in Vancouver. They cannot force him. All they can do is suggest it. So let me just get that out of the way right away. This is simply Allvin suggesting this to Elias Pettersson, and at the end of the day, Pettersson is the one who will make the decision. But it doesn't mean that the Canucks aren't possibly testing Elias Pettersson's commitment to the Canucks. Now, this is what I think this is. Having read the article, and, I was also listening to Blake Price and Matt Sekeres on Sekeres and Price, like, talking about it and giving their input, their opinion, and I have to agree with them. I think this is a test from the Canucks to Elias Pettersson. They're testing his commitment to Vancouver based off of, his poor season and the fact that he came into training camp not in good conditioning. His conditioning was terrible, and they were not happy about it. So they want to make sure that doesn't happen again. And the fact that they've made this public tells you something. We talked about in a previous video on how Allvin and Rutherford like to make things public because it, paints whoever they're targeting, I guess, in a bad light. And they want to make sure people are aware of it. We talked about the whole JT Miller, Elias Pettersson thing. They wanted to make sure that was public. And this is their negotiating tactic. We talked about that in that video, talking about, Bruce Boudreau and Jimmy Rutherford. It's the tactic that they use. They go public with things like this to get people talking, and perhaps to, put a little pressure on the person that they're targeting. On that person that they're, leaking this stuff out about. It puts pressure on them. But so yeah, so Patrik Allvin is suggesting to Elias Pettersson that he remain in Vancouver in the offseason and train here. Now, that being said, it makes you wonder, if Elias Pettersson says no to training here in Vancouver and him wanting to train in Sweden like he did last year, could the Canucks put Elias Pettersson on the trade block, prior to July 1st? This brings things back to my question. Are they testing Elias Pettersson's commitment? No. If he says no, is this going to tell the team that he's not committed to Vancouver and that they want to get out from underneath that $11.6 million contract? And they have until July 1st to do it. No. After July 1st, his no-move clause kicks in and their hands are tied. So I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think of this. Do you think they're testing EP40's commitment to the team with this, making this article public? Basically suggesting to Pettersson to train here in Vancouver instead of training in Sweden so they can monitor his offseason. Let me just bring up the article, and you guys, and as always, I'll leave a link to it in the description down below. But let me just bring this up. So yeah, here's the actual quote from Patrik Allvin. That's something we're obviously going to talk about here when the season is over and have a plan for it. The GM said, "We have the right resources here to help him. Listen, he has the ability to dictate the future, and I'm sure he wants to come back to his normal form and wants to continue to grow and get better. So we have absolutely the commitment and resources here to help him do that." Now, obviously, with Pettersson, we know he's a loner. We've talked about it on this channel on how he does not have a good relationship with the Sedins, two of his own countrymen. And the fact that he's not wanting help from guys like Henrik and Daniel, which still to this day blows my mind. Like, how do you not want advice or help or coaching from two of the best Canuck players of all time? And the fact that they're your fellow countrymen too. And they've also been through what you've been through. They struggled at the early on in their career too. They were, ridiculed by the media, by the fan base, that they were soft, and they didn't let it get to them. They used it as motivation, like what we mentioned in that video talking about his bad relationship with the Sedins. So yeah, I do think this is a test by the Canucks and Patrik Allvin for Elias Pettersson, which begs the question, is he going to pass the test? Is he going to actually train here in Vancouver, or will he split time between here and Sweden? I imagine he would want to go Sweden because he probably has family in Sweden, and that's probably one of the reasons why he chooses to train out there. But that could just be like speculation, but I would have to assume he has family back home in Sweden, and that's one of the reasons why he likes to go out there and train. Do you guys think that if Pettersson says no, that the Canucks could see this as a lack of commitment to the team and that they decide to put him on a trade block prior to July 1st? Let me know in the comment section down below. And then let me just do my quick sponsor read, and then we'll finish off with our final thoughts on this. Are you looking for an energy drink that is jitter-free, crash-free, no sugars, no artificial colors or dyes, and no calories? Then Dubby Energy is for you. With over 15 plus unique custom-made flavors, go ahead and get a starter sampler pack, which includes 3 different flavors. Use code TheLineChange to get 10% off your next purchase. Dubby Energy, your taste buds' favorite energy drink. So yeah, that in this article it's not just about Pettersson and Allvin and the Allvin quote about Pettersson. He talks about Rick Tocchet as well, we'll maybe save that for another video. He also, in the iMac in this article, talks about Besser and how these next couple games could very well be his last as a Vancouver Canuck. I'm not going to dive into that, as we're going to save that for another video. But once again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this quote from Patrik Allvin in regards to Elias Pettersson and his offseason training, and the fact that they are suggesting, not telling or not forcing Pettersson, but merely suggesting that he train here in Vancouver with their staff and their resources. Again, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think. And if you like this video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed to The Line Change, go ahead and smash that subscribe button. That way you stay up to date on all your Vancouver Canucks content here on this channel. You can find us on social media at The Line Change on Instagram, at Line Change Van on X. Search for us on Facebook to find our Facebook page. And you can find us on TikTok at the.line.change.po. If you prefer a audio version of this podcast, you can find us on Spotify. Just search The Line Change. We should come up. And that's going to do it for this video. As always, I'll see you guys in the next video.